Hello everyone, my name is Ben the Bold, and welcome to another edition of Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Now today we're jumping along into Speed Basics 1. Now, the thing about Speed Basics 1 is I am building a light cruiser, and all I'm trying to do is catch an enemy destroyer. I have 15 minutes to just catch the enemy destroyer. I am not allowed to shoot at the enemy. They are not going to shoot at me. They are retreating, and their top speed is going to be 25 knots. So as long as I can build a ship that is faster than 25 knots, then I win. So let's go ahead and just do this really quickly. I'm going to go with, of course, Light Cruiser 1. I'm just going to put the only towers I have available. I'm going to go ahead because I want a faster acceleration time. I'm going to do enhanced funnels. I'm going to put a super light main gun on there just because I feel wrong going into battle without any kind of gun. I'm not going to put any casemates, not going to put any torpedoes. I am going to decrease the range to short, and now I'm going to get a diesel engine that's going to decrease my weight. I'm going to go with oil, going to go with forced. It's going to increase my funnel capacity. I don't need any armor, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this as light a ship as possible. I don't need many shells, so I'm going to go reduced, light. I'm trying to trim the weight because now I want to make it as fast a ship as possible, and I can make it about 25 knots as is. If I increase the displacement, can I just make this thing ridiculously fast? 30 knots. 30 knots should be fine. Yeah, 30 knots is going to be great. Let's go ahead and see how this works. And as I'm sure you can tell, I have sped this video up quite a bit. After all, it is just my light cruiser chasing down their destroyer, and there's really not much they can do to get away from us. Our light cruiser goes 30 knots, which is, for the time period this is set in, pretty blazing speed. Their destroyer only goes 25 knots. They do go ahead and dispel their smoke screen. That's not going to help. I'm not shooting at them. It doesn't matter about the accuracy penalty I would have taken there. Instead, I am just going to plow through their smoke and keep chasing them down. I do just want to say this game, even just this simple chase scene, looks beautiful. I actually started to get lost in just how good the game looks, and their destroyer starts to veer off. I do have to kind of correct for that, but there's not much they can do. I am going to chase them down pretty quickly, pretty efficiently, and again, it just looks so good. Once again, I was going 30 knots, they were only going 25 knots, so it was just a mere matter of time, just a mere matter of seconds until I was able to board their ship. Okay, well, of course, since we built a light cruiser that, and we were in Speed Basics 1, and of course, since we built a light cruiser that could go 30 knots and their fastest speed available was only 25 knots, we easily won that one. So we're actually going to go ahead and in this episode work our way down to Speed Basics 2 to make things a little bit more exciting. This time we once again have a light cruiser, and they once again have one destroyer. Their top speed is now a little faster, 26 knots. They are shooting at us, we are shooting at them. I'm going to go ahead and say optimize maneuverability. I want to go ahead and I'm going to try it this way. I want to still make a fast, powerful light cruiser. I'm going to go ahead and just preemptively up the displacement to 3,000 tons. I'm going to get Diesel 2 to give me some more weight to work with and start building. I'm going to put a front tower down. I'm going to put a secondary tower down. There's the only two that I have available. Once again, I want to go ahead and increase my speed. So I'm going to, let's see, can I put 3 funnels? Let's go with 3 funnels for now. I think I'm going to go, I'm not trying to punch through heavy armor here. I think I'm going to go with just a couple 5-inch guns, maybe 2 5-inch guns in the front, and then maybe some 4-inch guns on the sides. Not that the 4-inch, I'm going to be chasing it, so I'm actually not going to put any guns in the back. I am looking to save a little bit of weight there. What about some casemate guns? Anything? No, I don't see any reason to do casemates. Period here. Well, they can shoot forward. I'll do 3-inch guns right there. That should help just a little bit. I'm still underweight. That's good. They are shooting at me. I think I'm going to decrease my range to very short. Yeah, we'll do very short. Now, their top speed is 26 knots, so I know that I want to be sure I'm going faster than 26 knots. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and get the Krupp 1. That's going to increase my build cost, but decrease my armor weight. That is good. It's also going to increase my just armor strength, which is good. That's going to mean I can make this thing very, very speedy. All the way up to 30 knots, 29.5, that's pretty good. Let's go with reduced. No, I don't have any torps, so I'm not bringing any anyway. Should I get faster reloading? It's going to increase weight, but I can do it. Yeah, I'll do faster reloading, minus 10% gun reload time. And yeah, we'll see how well this works. Here is our light cruiser. It's an Italian light cruiser. And now let's see if we can catch and shoot and sink the enemy destroyer. And here we are actually in the battle map. Our light cruiser has started its first rounds of firing. It is extremely difficult to hit this destroyer. It is very far away at the moment. Look at that, 2.2% chance of hitting it. It is very far away at the moment. I figured that once I got closer, my hit rate would go way up, and indeed it did. I was starting to make some hits, although they just were not coming very quickly. Overall, I did think that the smaller 4-inch guns, they would just shoot, or I guess they were 5-inch guns, that these 5-inch guns would just shoot over and over and over again, supported by the 4 and the 3-inch guns in the casemates. I did have a very rapid amount of fire, however, I really wasn't doing as much damage to that even lightly armored destroyer as I was hoping. They did lay out a smoke screen, which did make it more difficult for me to hit them, but I still was just powering through as fast as I could, trying to get there. As you can see though, they've actually done more damage to me shooting backwards while retreating than I did to them, and I really did front load my guns. I expected that I would fire enough rounds that it would at least slow them down, maybe cause some fires up on deck, and eventually it did. I love this shot, by the way, look at it go. But eventually I did cause some fires on deck, but it just wasn't a lot. As you can tell, I also have some fires on my deck. I was really worried about this, and while I did feel like I was just punching through their armor enough to do something, and as you can see, I am doing some damage to their ship. They are having to slow down, but as they're slowing down, they're actually turning away from me, and in turning away from me, they're presenting a smaller target. And once again, it's just really hard. It was just really hard for my guns to hit. Finally, I get a good hit there. I'm starting to do some real damage now, but they are going to continue to turn away. I decided to follow. I figured most of my firepower was right there at the front of my vessel, so that I was going to try to stay on their rear. That may not have been the best strategy, but as you can see, I am doing plenty of damage. At this point, they now have most of their ship, or part of their ship, on fire, compared to mine, where I am just taking light damage. My armor is proving a little bit more resilient than theirs. With that said, I just can't catch them. I can't get a good angle on them. They do a really good job at just continuing to turn away, not presenting a full side for me to shoot on. They are starting to flood, however, their crews actually do a really good job of getting that under control pretty quickly. And I'm starting here to worry about the time limit, because I'm not doing enough damage, and I'm starting to run out of time. I'm just continuing to chase. I am getting hit after hit after hit, but it's just really not doing as much as I need it to get out on time. And about here is when I realized I don't think I'm gonna win this. Look at that. I just don't have enough time. I keep chasing. I get a few more good hits. I know that I would have eventually sunk them. My vessel was superior to theirs. I just ran out of time. Wow, and I hate to say, but I actually failed that one. That was my first mission that I have failed thus far. So, we need to rethink our strategy. Now, what I noticed was that the destroyer kept turning away from me, and so it didn't present a really very much of an opportunity for me to hit it. I kept noticing that my hit chances were very, very low. So I'm starting to think that maybe, in fact, what I would want instead of just the super small 5-inch guns is maybe a couple 8-inch guns, because if I did hit with the 8-inch gun, now they're not super accurate, but if I did hit with the 8-inch gun, I think it would do a lot more damage. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and just clear away this ship. It's still 3,000 tons. And I'm going to, of course, get better engine. Let's get some better fuel. Does this reduce my weight? No, it actually increases boiler weight, but it increases 90% funnel capacity. I think that means maybe I need less funnels. So let's actually just go with 2 funnels this time. Do one in the front, one in the back. Perfect. We, of course, need some towers. Front tower, I only have 2 options for towers. I want to do anything I can do to increase accuracy. And because I am going to get the bigger 8-inch guns. Ooh, no, I can't. If I increase my displacement all the way, can I? No. Can I put it in the back? I can put a gun in the back, but there's not really any reason for me to put it in the back. Because I'm going to be mostly chasing. Although, maybe if I pull up alongside... Let's see, what's the biggest gun I can put in the center, or in the front? 6 inches? I really can't do 7? No, it looks like... I wish I could put, you know, a 7-inch gun anywhere. I might... No. Alright, I'm going to go with 6 inches. I can put it in the center. And I am going to go ahead and put a 6-inch gun in the rear as well. Just so we're firing 6-inch guns from either side. And I am going to load it up with casemates. I'm going to try to light it on fire. And I'm going to load it up with those 4-inch guns. And I might think about putting maybe some... No, I'm already way over on weight. So let's think. How can I... Oh, the Krupp armor. I'm going to get Krupp 1 armor. That's going to put me under on weight, but I'm still over on funds. Okay, so I can bring down the displacement a little bit to make it a little bit easier on the pocketbook. I don't want to bring it down any more than that. I was able to catch it. I need to bring it down $21,000. How shall I go about doing that? I don't want to get rid of I don't want to get rid of any guns. Natural boilers? Natural boilers. Maybe I'll go with force. Nope. I'll go with induced. Alright, and so I'm going to go ahead and try this again. It is going to be an Italian cruiser, probably taking on a Japanese destroyer. Let's see how it goes. And here once again is my Italian light cruiser going against a Japanese destroyer. They're going to go ahead and use their smokescreen pretty early this time. I am using slightly heavier caliber shells. Those do tend to punch through a little bit better, although the trick is hitting them. I get lucky and I get an early hit. It does go ahead and start to do a little bit of damage. They are not as fast as me. I'm not quite at 30 knots, but I'm close. And I am pumping a lot of shots downrange. And the big kicker is I now have those a little bit heavier 6-inch guns, which are doing just a little bit more damage, and they actually do pretty quickly start to tear through the very, very light armor on the destroyer. As you can see, I'm already doing just about as much damage as I did in my first run. I am this time though deciding not to try to stay right behind them like I did in my last attempt. Instead, I'm trying to stay over to the side. I want to present a few more of my guns to just have a better opportunity to hit them. They are trying to keep their tail pointed towards me to present as little of a target as possible, but this time it's not really working. My bigger guns are making good hits. They do expel another smoke screen. That's going to be okay. We are going to hit them. We have started to make them flood. They are losing their buoyancy. They are on fire. We really are... At this point, I'm very confident. I start to try to circle here, and for a second, my guns actually just stopped firing. I didn't really know what was going on. Maybe it was because I had such a tight turn radius, but they just completely stopped firing. And I was a little worried that I was going to lose because my guns had ran out of ammunition. But no, I had plenty. I ended up switching to an aggressive stance so that they would just shoot no matter what. And that actually proved to be the decisive factor. The 6-inch guns took care of them, and of course, eventually it flooded and it sank beneath the waves. Alright, and that one did seem to go a little bit better. It did seem like having a slightly bigger gun allowed me to do a lot more damage. It slowed down that retreating destroyer a little bit faster. Overall, I was pretty happy with that light cruiser build. I do feel like these Naval Academy missions are really teaching me a lot about the game. I think that whenever the campaign starts, I will be very happy to optimize some light cruisers with some slightly bigger guns instead of going with that small gunboat that I went with the first time. It was still plenty fast. It still caught the destroyer, excuse me. But this time it was able to actually really do a lot of damage with the bigger guns, even though the destroyer did do a very good job at evading my fire for a really long time. Anyway, tune in next time when we start finally taking on some torpedoes, basics. And then maybe even some battleship versus torpedo. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day. I am Ben the Bold. You, of course, are you. And tune in next time.